I don't advocate for beating children. You should let children be. My son Chuchu, they break television for the fun of. If he vex, he go, whoa, he would throw stuff and break. So it got
TV don't cost so.
It got to the age where he got to, and I saw the remorse.
I remember that first one where he post. We get one where he post one time.
That was the third TV.
If my child should mistakenly break a television in my house, he go receive. Not because I do not have the capacity to buy another telly, but it is because I have not been able to manage my anger to that level that I will not beat up that child. Yes. Anger management is one thing. Capacity is another thing. I have the capacity, but anger management never reached that level. Hello, my beautiful people. It's Gifted Gift again. There is no week, no day we don't drag people online. Yes. Bovi, it is your turn to enjoy this dragging. Yes. First of all, I want to say, Bovi, kudos to your fountain of knowledge. No, your style of approach, your way of life, your knowledge is something I respect greatly. Now, having said that, in as much that I don't totally agree with Bovi on this 2 hours podcast, does not mean I also totally disagree with him. For those of you that just read on social media how you started badging him, please try and watch the podcast. It is very educative. It will help you if maybe you want to copy the style of Bovi way of parenting. Like he said in the podcast, he said that there is no perfect method of parenting, which simply means we are all trying what we think is best for us. So for the fact that he has decided to choose the path of not beating his children does not mean he is right. And those of us that are beating our children constantly does not also mean it is the perfect method of parenting. Yes. Now, the question we should ask Bovi should be, as a Nigeria parent, is, Bovi, when your son broke the first television, was he in Nigeria or you've already relocated them to the UK? These are the questions we should ask, because if he broke the first one in Nigeria, I understand the reason why most Nigeria parents will react the way they are reacting online. But if he broke the first telly, the second telly, and the third television in the UK, people have to calm down. Yes, because you need to know that you need to choose between buying a new telly or facing the government, their problem. Yes, because in the developed society, we all know you are not allowed to beat your children. Yes, you don't have that right to beat your children. Yes, some of us secretly beat them and we get away with it. But there are some people that are beating their children and their children were collected from them. So wisdom is profitable when it comes to parents that are not living in Nigeria. If you are living in Nigeria, you decide to beat your child morning, afternoon, and evening, and you think that is the best way for you, congratulations to you. But for those of us that are not living in Nigeria, wisdom is profitable. That does not mean I don't beat my children. I don't stay in Nigeria, but wisdom is profitable. I know of a lady here in Austria that told me she is even boasting with it that she has never beaten her children once. And the truth of the matter is, if I want to tell you, our children are not hooligans. Most of us, we believe beating will correct our children. Not all the time. There are some children that were never beaten and they came out beautiful. And there are some children that you really need to beat and beat some senses into their head.
You didn't say, he might break the second one. Let's just leave TV for now until, you bought the second one. Okay, did you buy a cheaper one the second time?
No, but thank God for capacity.
Yeah.
Do you get? If I couldn't afford another TV, then the approach would have been totally different.
Anger of say where the money go come from.
Yeah, you know.
And another thing is, like Bovi said, we beat our children at times out of frustration, out of anger. Yes, out of poverty. There are situations that we just have to talk about. But no, we Nigeria parents stress of no money, stress of how will I buy another one, will make us to beat them and beat them the way that you even know that, this is too much. No, seriously. I agree totally with him in this part where he said, out of anger, out of frustration, we beat up our children. Indeed, we do. There are times I wake up in the morning when I'm angry. I have to personally beg my children. I'll tell them, please, I don't want to beat you today. I am angry. Because there are times that the thing that they did is not what's beating them for, but we just take out frustration on them. That's the truth. And I totally agree with him on that. For those of you that has not watched the podcast, please try to do so and stop the unnecessary badging. What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not to also work for you. But necessary is we should have our method of discipline our children so that they will not turn out vagabonds in the society. But for the fact that a parent said, I don't like or I don't advocate for beating of children, does not mean he is wrong. That's the truth. Those of you that are staying in the developed country, they say don't beat your children. Will you go and fight with the authority to say, why will I not beat your children? Even if I know some of us still secretly hide to correct them, to beat them. Yeah, my good people of Nigeria, we truly need to come to the fact that beating is not the best method of training up children. That's the truth. It is not the best method. For the fact that you were beaten or for the fact I was beaten does not mean I will also encourage somebody to beat up their children, especially when it's something you can actually talk about. Does that mean I don't beat my children? I do. And at times, I actually beat them out of frustration. That's the truth. If you agree with me, there are times you beat up your child just because of frustration, not because of the wrong that child did at that particular time, out of anger, out of frustration. There are times that if I see that I actually beat them out of frustration and not because of the wrong that they did, I am humble enough to apologize. Yes, that is something that is very difficult for a normal African parent to do, to apologize or have a conversation with your children. Now we know better, and for the fact that we know better, it's good that those things that we know is not the best or is wrong and we've been practicing it. There is nothing bad if we begin to turn around and become better parents. Now, I'm not saying I'm a better parent. No, I'm just trying my best, and the things I know I've done wrong before and it's possible for me to correct. I'm trying to correct it because I can recall as a child, there were parents when they were children rather, that their parents will be coming back from work. They will run inside as if a monster is coming. Yes, that is not the best method of training a child. Yes, for those parents at that particular time, it was what they knew how to do to scare children. Yes, are you reading? Are you not reading? You know those methods. So Steve, yes, I know personally that is not the kind of way I want to train up my children, even if maybe I've not been able to win that aspect of not beating them. But I know I'm working daily on myself. And the earlier we know that we truly have to work on ourselves, the better it will be for us, especially those of us in Europe. Please work on yourself. Do better. Anyway, see you in my next video. I remember your Get Gifted gift. If today happened to be your first time of coming across my video on YouTube, please do me a favor by subscribing. And for those of you that has not watched this podcast, please try and do. It's really educating. And the part that we are dragging this Bovi for is just less than 1 minute. Take it easy.